Hello everyone, this is a psychic prediction for GameStop. Now, I had previously predicted on my Patreon page that GameStop would have a second pump shortly after the first one, and it has recently done so. And since then, I have been seeing more of these pumps into the future, and in fact, it looks like it's going to be doing pretty well, actually. So I had a client who wanted me to do this reading, and so it was also suggested that I post it online. So here I am, making it into a video and posting it online. So let's start off here with what I'm seeing just overall, and I will get to more details of what's going on later on at the end of this video. But for now, here's a quick overview. It does look like this stock could potentially 10x actually at its peak, and have surprising stability over the next 6 years. And that was surprising to me because I thought it was a pump and dump, but it seems as if it's actually gaining stability and holding at that level. So it looks like around July or so, there could be another rally on GameStop, that being GME stock ticker symbol, to around where it has recently gone, around $48 or so. So that's next month. So that could be a quick trade if that one works out for you. But then around August, it could go even higher, possibly to $70 to $90 is what I was getting. And I would like to say really quick that the way that I get this information is I go into a meditation. I typically meditate for maybe up to an hour or so, and then I tune in and just see things visually that are usually symbolic, and I kind of have a sense of knowingness as well that comes along with that, and I'm able to kind of see where things are relative to where they are now within the price. And so these numbers are estimated and not exact numbers, but they do kind of give a general idea within the ballpark of where things are going. So after this pump in August to around $70 to $90, comes down with or it comes down for a while, and then there's another pop towards the end of the year of 2024, reaching a peak and a local high for the year of 2024. And I also want to mention that I am reading through these notes that I did write already. I already did this reading and wrote it down as it was coming to me. And for the sake of the video, I'm just reading through the notes to speed up the process. So if it sounds like I'm reading off of a list, it's because I am. Okay, 2025, it comes down at the start of the year, but then slowly gains over time. So 2025 doesn't seem like a bad year, but the start of it isn't very good. 2026, it looks like halfway or so through the year, it shoots up a bunch, and that looks pretty good. 2027, it goes up even higher again at the start of the year, and then it pretty much goes flat for a while. And at first, what I was seeing was that it loses its value and tanks around 2030. But then I was seeing this little pop around 2028, just like a really quick one that goes up and down. And then it kind of slowly loses value after 2028, leading into 2030, where it just kind of tanks around the year 2030. And to me, this is interesting because of other predictions that I've made. I've made hundreds of crypto coin predictions throughout the years, and I kind of compare them all, and it creates a bigger picture of what's going on. And so I've also recently posted on my Patreon page about the year 2030, and the weakening of the US dollar in relation to that. And so I will include that link actually, and for the sake of this video, I've made that post free to the public. You don't even need a free trial to view it. You can just click on the link, which I'll post below the video. You can find that link, click it, and read my whole explanation for what's happening in the year 2030 in relation to financial markets in particular. And just as a background, before I get into more of the details of what I see coming for GameStop, and I do go into reading more about Keith Gill, the CEO of GameStop, as well as the hedge funds and some strategies around what to do with GameStop. But first, I want to talk about kind of what I'm seeing here going on, because I started to mention it already. But what I said way back in 2020 when I started my channel is that we're having a shift in culture and the monetary system that is lasting from 2020 through 2027. And at first I said 2026, but over the years I've changed it to 2027 because I feel like there's still going to be lingering effects of that in 2027 when things really massively change. And 2028 is when I'm seeing the unifying of people, as well as the world government, which is not quite a positive thing. And there's actually kind of a battle between the unification of people and the unification of the world powers into kind of like a centralized world control power. Ultimately, I see the people winning in the long term, but there does seem to be a battle there. And I do like to remind people that just because there is the globalization and the corruption behind that, there are two forces happening simultaneously. One is the corrupt power of government control over the people, and the other one is actually the unifying of people and the correction of that, and they're happening simultaneously. So just because you see unification doesn't mean that it's like the New World Order or something like that. It could be, but it could also be the unification of humanity for the evolution of the human spirit, because the earth is going through frequency shifts and we are going to higher vibrations, and that will continue. So I spoke of this as well on my Patreon page. I also mentioned, ironically, I said video games become more important than crypto or making money around the year 2020 or 2033. People are much more interested in education as a form of entertainment, viral challenges in the way that we have viral challenges, but they become more reasonable and more about self-development. And online collaboration with people socially, as well as there being popular channels that people watch more collectively, kind of people agree more to watch the same event or the same thing, kind of like how people watch sports so that they can all watch it together and it's kind of like a group activity. I'm seeing more of that happening in 2033, and basically all of this leading to the fall of the majority of most cryptos in 2033, although I do see Bitcoin and other things continuing on, but a lot of the altcoins just continuously seem to fall apart in the year 2033, and I found that very interesting, which is what prompted me to make this reading, which I'd post on my Patreon, and the link to that will be below this video as well. Of course, that one you will have to sign up for the free 7-day trial membership if you want to watch that, and if you want to cancel the membership, It's very easy. You just go to settings on the sidebar, you click settings, and then you click membership, and then you click cancel. It's that easy to cancel so that you don't have to be billed. Although if you want to use the search bar, which I highly recommend you do, don't cancel before you use the search bar, because you won't be able to use the search bar with Patreon. But anyways, continuing on here, now that I've thoroughly advertised myself, and by the way, you can always give this video a thumbs up if you like this content, and subscribe for monthly psychic predictions before the month starts. Continuing on, I will be exploring the next 2 years of the stock price, but first I want to get to the individuals and doing a psychic reading on these individuals. So what someone asked me was to probe the mind of Gill, who is also known as, I'm not going to say it because I don't know, I might get in trouble on YouTube, DeepFuckingValue, also known as Roaring Kitty. So this is someone who made a whole bunch of money off of GameStop. So I don't, I'm not an expert. I don't really know what's going on with this guy too much. But this is what I was asked to do reading on. So what came to me, and I wrote it down, so I'll just be reading it, is I see him toning down as far as his activity into the future. But there's a lot of activity going on still for the next couple weeks. And I would say that could actually be more like next couple months, but definitely the next couple weeks. There's a lot of activity going on with him energetically. I don't see him getting carried away with posting a lot, so I don't think he's going to be, going crazy with posting things online. He seems very, at least from this point, he seems very calm and in control without much enthusiasm. And I'm not saying he doesn't have enthusiasm, because he does, but he seems to be, controlling his enthusiasm, is the sense I was getting. I don't see him taking or talking much or taking much more extreme action into the future. However, it does seem that what he has already started will serve him well into the future. It seems there may be some more interviews or discussions of some sort involving him within the next couple months, which will have a very positive effect on the stock price. I do feel that he will be silenced by the end of this year and not say too much for a while. This seems to be related to legal consequences that scare him for posting more about it, but I do sense that he would really like to post more if he didn't feel like legal ramifications may bite him. It seems his ability to post about the stock directly might be blocked, but I do see him being interviewed regardless in the future during 2025 next year, and this having a positive effect on the stock. I don't see Gill planning on joining the board of directors. It doesn't seem like that's something in his mind that he's planning on doing, but I get the sense that he wouldn't mind having some say in the majority voting rights if he was to own 50% of the stock. He doesn't seem to want to change very much, though, and wouldn't want to interfere too much with the process, is what I was getting. I do not see him reaching this level of influence, though, so I don't really see that being a thing that actually happens. And just so you know, if you own 50% or more of a stock, you have a lot of say over the company, and you can make decisions about what the company does. So that's what that's about. I don't really see that happening, though. I see him diversifying his portfolio by investing in other things because he is not going all in on GameStop. despite what it may appear like on the news. I don't see him making any drastic moves into the future because he is trying to play it safe. I do, however, see some excited energy in the near future. I would say the next couple months in particular look good. A question was, does he have backers or any partnerships in the new play with GameStop? And what I got was, he seems to be working on his own. I was then asked, how did he get so much money? And what came to me was, he seems to have been born into a somewhat wealthy family, well, not like super rich or anything. But he also made a lot of money through sneaky and smart practices of using a computer. This looks like he was able to make good money at a corporate job while making money on the side on his free time. There's something sneaky about this, and it seems like high-risk trading. But it also is not high risk because he knew what he was doing. So I don't understand the details of this, but it seems like he may have used leverage trading or something similar. And of course, I don't even know how to use leverage tradings, but it seemed like it was something like that. I will discuss the secrets to his success and some strategy later on, but first let's get to Ryan Cohen, the CEO of GameStop, who I was also asked to do a reading on. So what I got was, I see him throwing papers into the air in excitement. So that definitely seems very positive. This is kind of representing the present moment, but also representing the future simultaneously. He is going online himself to try and understand why his stock is doing so well. The excitement seems to stop near the end of this year, however, where he starts to feel afraid of losing what he has gained. Things become more serious for him into the future, but I do see him being pleased to find another bump up in the price later on into the future that puts his mind at ease again. He doesn't seem to understand exactly why this is happening to his company. He does seem to start taking it for granted later on, though. To him, it feels like he has won the lottery. Most of what he does into the future is about holding the gains and sustaining what has happened. I do see celebration, though, overall for him. He does seem very excited. So, a specific question was, what will he do with the money? Will he reinvest it in the company, expand the company? What will he do? I wrote, I see him planning on keeping a lot of the money in the stock price so that it doesn't drop. I don't see him having plans to spend tons of money to change a whole lot about the company. I do see him crunching numbers and cutting expenses, actually. So it's kind of the opposite idea of spending more money. I do get something about arcade games, though, and I don't know if that's necessarily that he's going to produce or sell or be involved with arcade games, or if maybe that just means there's more like technology that kind of looks like an arcade game that people may be purchasing from him. I'm not sure which one, but regardless, arcade games was coming through for me. It seems he may be expanding into the realm of arcade games. I don't particularly see him branching out to use Steam. That was one of the questions, which is a streaming service, or Bitcoin, which was also asked if he will be investing in Bitcoin to kind of justify the stock price. and I don't really see him doing those things particularly. He seems rather conservative in his actions and doesn't want to stray too far away from what he is already doing. He wants the stock to continue to hold the value it does without adding risk of it suddenly becoming different from what it is in the mind of the investors. I do see a modest expansion of business, though, with more stores opening up and something related to arcade games being involved. I don't particularly see him sending the stock to the moon because of his actions, but it seems more like his inaction is what seems to pay off here, and just being consistent with his actions. In the next couple years, it seems to perform very well for him, but then it slowly becomes more stagnant and simply floats along. Then I was asked to do a reading on the unknown enemy hedge funds that are shorting the stock. So what I came up with was, in the short-term future, I do see a win for them. And I think that's just because it goes up and then comes back down again. But then, shortly following that, is the opposite, and it looks bad for them. I am seeing someone pressing delete over and over again on a keyboard and it not responding. And of course, this is more symbolic. This is usually how I see visions, is usually kind of conveying the message rather than it being a literal event of them pressing the delete button, but it's conveying the message. That's usually how spirit communicates, is symbolically. I don't see this completely wrecking them, but it does seem to be something like a splinter under their skin that stays with them for a very long time. It seems that after 2 years they are able to get their feet back on the ground again. It seems they are able to get out of the trade to some degree, like 2 years later, and that it stops going against them as harshly around that time. It looks like after 2026, they're able to have a better position and start regaining some of what they lost over the next 3 years after 2026, that is, until around 2029. So back to Keith Gill, aka Roaring Kitty, or DeepFuckingValue. Continuing, what is his secret for success? He seems to really put in the due diligence, is what it came to me, when it comes to investing and trading, because he really does a full analysis of the stocks on a professional level. He is very thorough in his analysis and does not cut corners. Because of his familiarity with this process, sorry, I lost my spot. He is very quick, and it becomes second nature to him. This seems to be his secret. He seems to have a long history with this type of work, and so he is not jumping into anything he is not already very familiar with. There is very little effort coming from him, and it seems as if he is actually having fun, and this is a form of play for him. It is being compared to when you see a limited time deal at the grocery store and you decide to stock up on that cheap product while it's cheap and available. For him, it was that simple. I get the sense that he took classes and had formal training in trading stocks. And I don't really know what his history is, but that's just the sense that I was getting in the reading. There is an element of luck involved, but the premise of his work is anything but luck. It is based in having a history of professional level training. Again, I don't know if it was professional level, but that was just the sense. It felt like it was professional level. Maybe it wasn't technically professional level, but it was on par with professional level training and mastering the knowledge before even attempting anything. So he was not leaping before looking, in other words. Just like you are probably familiar with the prices of food at the grocery store, he is very well aware of the big picture of what is happening as well as the details, and so this was simply something that caught his eye while doing his day-to-day activities. To sum up why he is successful, it is because he has academic level training and he tries to do the best he can and takes his training seriously. So moving on to the final question, which was any strategic plans to make billions on this? That was the question, or I'm paraphrasing, but that was the gist of the question. What came to me was a potential way to make money is to buy some now and sell it within the next 2 years. It looks like it could start to go up and reach a good level around the end of 2024. That would be the end of this year, and so that's not too long, and that could be a potential area to sell before it comes down a little. There, it seems to have a fake drop. I mean, it does drop, but then it turns around, so it can fake people out, and goes up even higher into January of 2025. This looks like a quick thing, so if you miss selling it, then it comes back down. But it is short and would also give an opportunity to make some money before it comes back down a bunch. Sorry, I'm repeating myself. From there, it seems that buying it after the drop, somewhere around February of 2025, would be a good place to hold, or to buy it and hold it, until around the middle of 2026, after it shoots up higher. That's what was coming to me as one strategy you could use. Of course, this is not investment advice, and I cannot guarantee that things are going to go exactly as I say. There are many timelines into the future. Things shift constantly. Nothing is actually written in stone. This is why even Nostradamus has been said to have many different potential future timelines, where he says, if we go down this direction, then these things will happen, but if we go down this direction, then these things will happen. And the whole purpose of him sharing this, as well as a lot of the purpose of many psychic predictions, is so that you can change the future. That's kind of the point of it. So this is a little different. This is to be able to invest properly along with that future timeline. My point is there are many timelines, and as you go forward in time, they shift and things change, which is why I do continuous updates on all the crypto coins that I do predictions for on my Patreon, and I will be continuing to do that with this stock. So just keep that in mind, that the longer out you go, the more possible alternative timelines there are. Regardless, this is the one that I see being the most likely to happen. So short term, it looks like selling it within the next month or two could be very profitable. I wanted to throw in the more short term, quick profit option there. Long term, I do see it being hard to justify doing that or selling that stock over crypto trading, because it seems like overall a lot of cryptos are going to be doing, if not equal in profit, then better in profit. So for me, I am still more focused on those crypto coins, and I am personally only choosing to invest in this in the short term for now, and then I will reanalyze it and consider going for a longer term trade. But anyways, if you want to see more of my crypto predictions, I have a Patreon page. Of course, it's a free 7-day trial if you want. I do blind readings on people, which means that I have a long list of names that people have requested that I do readings on, and I randomly assign them 6-digit numbers, and then I scramble those numbers and randomly pull one of those 6-digit numbers and do a reading on that 6-digit number, not knowing what name it represents. And then after I do that, I look up the name, and then I do some research on that person, and then I do some follow-up questions. So the main bulk of the reading is completely blind, and I don't know who I'm reading. I do those every month. I do 3 of them every month, and then I also do world news, and of course hundreds of crypto coins and Bitcoin updates continuously. So you can always find the link below for that if you want to join and check that out, or just do the 7-day free trial and cancel before you get billed. So besides for that, you can always subscribe for monthly psychic predictions before the month starts. That's basically what I do on my YouTube channel, so subscribe for that if you like. And besides for that, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Thank you.